Alright guys, awful news in boxing. Just terrible. Completely shocking news has surfaced out of Atlanta with reports that Paul Williams has gotten into a very severe motorcycle accident. As a result of this, he has been deemed to be paralyzed from the waist down. And this is just terrible news for for the boxer Paul Williams. He's had so many ups and downs in the ring. He got a gift decision against Erislandy Lara. Along with that, along with that, just many sort of, I don't want to say downfalls, but ever since he fought Sergio Martinez, things just weren't the same afterwards. And he was severely damaged after the Sergio Martinez knockout in the second round. He came back pretty strong against Ishida. He showed that he can still take a punch. He showed he can still throw punches and bunches. He showed he can still fight like Paul Williams. But Paul Williams, man, I don't know what to say. It's it's sad that this has happened. He can't get a payday in a spot where he's severely injured. I just hope he has a good disability insurance plan because this is where he needs it most, especially doing something that could be considered dangerous activity in his professional career, like boxing, and doing something like motorcycling, uh, which is reminiscent of the death of the late great Diego Corrales, who gave us so many classics. Paul Williams did the same. He gave us classic fights against Antonio Margarito. He gave us classic fights against Sergio Martinez in the first one. We got a good fight against Erislandy Lara, although he did get outboxed. And we got a pretty okay fight against Winky Wright. But he gave us some classics, and that's always appreciated in boxing. It's unfortunate that he can never get, because of his style, he could never reach the supreme level. It would have been great to see him against Kelly Pavlik. I thought that would be a fight that would always make for a great matchup. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And it looks like the card in I think it would be in California against Saul Canelo Alvarez, and I believe that was supposed to be on HBO pay-per-view. I'm not quite sure because it's not on the HBO schedule, but now that's a wash. And it looks like Canelo was going to be off pay-per-view because he got a pretty big high from the big Mosley win, and also coming off the big win against Mosley. I think HBO was trying to push Canelo to a pay-per-view because he has such a big following. However, a guy like Paul Williams might have brought him, they definitely would have sold out any stadium in California, but now things have completely changed, and as a result of this, it looks like Paul Williams is out of the picture at 154. I think he's had a great career, but after something like this, it's really time to hang up the gloves. And I really wish Paul Williams the best. He's had a glorious boxing career. He's been a champion at 147 and 154, so you have to give him all the credit in the world. But to be honest, he's not a Hall of Fame champion. Now, in terms of who can Canelo fight next, there are three options that I intend on breaking down. Those three options, viable options, they should be real contenders at 154 pounds, because After fighting a guy like Shane Mosley, you can't go back to fighting bums again. That's the thing. So now they're gonna have to put Canelo Alvarez in with a legitimate contender. And as a result of this, there are three options available. And in my opinion, those three options are one, James Kirkland, who may or may not have a rematch with Carlos Molina. I'm not sure if something is set in stone, but I think James Kirkland is a very live option for that opponent. Um, the next available opponent would be Erislandy Lara, who is a super slick technical fighter who would, in my opinion, give Canelo Alvarez all he can handle and more. He would really, I think he would expose Canelo Alvarez as someone who basically has trouble with his foot movement and can't really. And I think he would beat him on the outside. But if Canelo Alvarez put a lot of pressure on him, that makes for a really good fight. I think the next fight, another contender that should be in line for an opportunity like Canelo Alvarez is Carlos Molina, who came off a very controversial loss against James Kirkland. Carlos Molina is someone who is very experienced, who's been in with guys like Erislandy Lara, who's been in with the James Kirkland, and he's someone that is a viable opponent against the Canelo Alvarez. So that's just my take on it. In terms of breaking down in those individual opponents, I intend on doing so. So until then, take care, guys. It's really a shame what happened to Paul Williams, and we could only wish him the best. And hopefully he's been able to get compensation for what's happened because he can't work anymore. He can't go back to fighting after something like this. So hopefully he has insurance, and it's what it is. Take care, guys, and a glorious career to Paul Williams.